What's good? What's good? What's good, world? You are now tuned into Hip Hop and Politics with Queen Delilah. And today I'm going to come and tell you, my indie artists, the 5 things you can do to get an indie deal. All right? Let's go ahead and start it off. You know me, I'm on the run. Plus, I got a protest to get to. So, number 1, make sure you got your community support. Make sure you got your numbers up. A lot of people look at Master P as a great businessman because he was able to sell a lot of units. How do you think they were able to track those units? So what you want to do as an indie artist is get with, there's some companies that actually do bar label and mass print CDs for you. And you can go ahead and get those CDs, and you're going to be able to actually track them and how many units you sell. So selling CDs out your car is completely fine, but just make sure that you're in some type of system that's able to track them, because you want to make sure that you can reflect those numbers and analytics back to the record labels, okay? Now, number 2, make sure you get with your radio program directors. The radio program directors are actually responsible for the distribution of music, okay? And most times they're actually responsible for the distribution of music through syndicated radio. Syndicated radio are actually affiliated radios, brother and sister radio stations that work together. So that's why you see big shows like The Breakfast Club can play at the same time everywhere nationwide. So you want your music to get on syndicated radio, okay? So you have to get with your city and local radio program directors to actually get that done. So get jumping on that. Get to know people, network, get out in your community, get your numbers. Number 3, you're going to need money to go ahead and pay for smaller companies to get marketing, promotions, and, you know, get your music heard and out there. Now, what I mean by that is you can go ahead and in this step, you may just already have an indie deal. You may be able to go ahead and start your own campaign. Your own campaign is actually going to take your own money. And what they'll do is they'll take your money and begin pushing your music on various platforms, because now you've actually paid for those services. And there's companies that are subscribed to those bigger companies that promote largely on large platforms like social media, news networks, television networks, music television networks, where they promote your music in a mass distributive way. So that just kind of saves you a lot of time. And, you know, some of these companies actually could increase your numbers on your social sites. So they're important. A lot of them aren't legal, but they're in a gray area because it's like a black market for them. So you, on the other hand, won't have anything to do with it. So when you put money and invest money into yourself, that's more of what you're paying for, is the push for your music to get on certain digital platforms, being pushed syndicated radio. They'll go ahead and handle that. Your social media being up, and you getting, you know, marketing and promotions on a larger scale for your music to actually get heard. All right. Number 4, you want to go ahead and begin performing a lot in your city. Make sure your city knows you, but get on a small tour. You want to be associated with other up-and-coming artists that are in your area locally or regionally. You want to be known to be associated with a certain something. It's like in politics when you put your name on the ballot. You know what I'm saying? You actually get associated with a name, so people hear of you and the style is reflected the same. You might begin seeing the same indie artists just like you performing at the same venues. So you want to network with those artists and see what you guys could really do, because numbers matter. So if you can hit a certain audience, they can hit a certain audience, y'all can share audience, it actually expands to a bigger audience. You get what I'm saying? And number 5, at this point, you've already covered down the numbers in your community, numbers in the street. You've already did the radio program directors. You've got your music heard on syndicated radio. You've already done campaigning by, you know, paying certain companies, or just doing it yourself by getting larger promotion and doing your own promotions and marketing. And you've already been on tour or currently on tour with some relatively locally famous people in your city. Now it's time for number 5, which is to get sponsorship and endorsements for an even larger market for your music, okay? So by now, if you haven't either gotten an indie deal, you may be getting one, or a big deal to get into a massive market. You need that money. I remember one of the members from Bone Thugs and Harmony said it best. He said a lot of the Migos' success right now is due to the fact that they took a lot of their own money and actually funded their own journey. So they were able to do all the things that I just said, and then a lot of people heard of them, and then a bigger label came and signed them and put more money behind them, knowing that there were certain guarantees. So you don't want to be one of those people that gets a record deal, an indie record deal, and automatically once they're CDs in the store. You kind of don't want to do that with big retailers like, say, for instance, Best Buy or Walmart, where you put your CD you push for your CD to get in that retail store. Your label, the CD gets for $1, bought for $1 from Walmart, and then if your CD doesn't sell, your label has to actually buy it back at retail price. And that's why a lot of indie artists end up in debt off of small deals, is because they push for much more marketing and promotions than they actually really have support of, and then end up owing the label for resources that weren't used but wasted. Now they owe money for that. So don't be one of those indie artists. Be smart, invest your own money, work hard for it, stay true to the game, never fold, and just keep at it. So this is your girl, Queen Delilah, from Hip Hop and Politics with Queen Delilah on iHeart, Spotify, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook Live, as you can see, all social sites. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, Hip Hop and Politics, INC, and you can make donations to my Cash App, $Queen Delilah, DELILAH. So have a wonderful evening, and stay tuned. We are live weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye-bye.